It's
I'm
hard to
I'm
do it.
I'm fortunate that I have them with me. I have you as well. We talked a lot in that time, Adnan. कुछ लोग ही हैं, उन्होंने ही पकड़ के खींच के बाहर निकाला है। क्योंकि मैं मेरे ख्याल से ना, और क्योंकि समहाउ सब लोग नोट करना, घर में सबने नोट करना शुरू कर दिया था इसके ऊपर कि ही इज़ नॉट सेइंग एनीथिंग। अच्छा, ये मेरा अजीब सा चक्कर था कि व्हेन माय फादर passed away, I stopped talking. I am like, a person who is keeping himself quiet. He is not crying out loud, but everything is getting digested. And still to this day, I'm blocked from the inside. फिर उसके बाद somehow वो होल शो दोबारा इनके लिए आया। बीच में एक बार मेरे दोस्त के लिए आया था, सेकंड टाइम। एंड एवरीवन इन माय फैमिली was saying कि यार नहीं, you need to let it out man, you need to let it out. And I'm like, नहीं, I'm okay, it's okay, I can do
Actually,
cannot do, but I,
yeah.
yeah, but you have been through with the same, Adnan.
Oh,
So
my goodness. And that's the
to
last thing kind of I want to talk about a little bit too. I mean, uh, all of you are welcome to share your experiences there, but it could be very personal for some people.
mm,
And grief is something which I've been dealing with within the last year, the whole year. I lost my best friend out of a heart
mm,
attack just out of nowhere, who was at my place a few days before, and we had a long and deep hug. For some reason, I knew I'm not gonna see him again. And
oh,
yeah, dealing with that has been very, very challenging to me. Um,
yeah,
Especially in those alone times. I go in there
mm,
and it just overwhelms me. And part of me tells me that I gotta go through it emotionally. I gotta let it out through my emotions and let it all through. And part of me tells me to get a grip on that. Um, so it's a competing feeling. And then if you really, really suppress it, it will start to manifest itself in your dreams or
yeah, it
things. And
does.
you have to let those emotions out by crying, by some people deal it by talking. Um, but I think as men, we are burdened by another aspect of strength in manliness. And
Yeah,
are two different things. So you're like, oh, so you're that's another layer in you that's telling you, oh, don't be stupid, guys, boys don't cry.
yeah,
Keep it all in yourself, and then we'll take care of it. That's that masculinity we gotta battle through because grief is not a gender-based emotion.
yeah,
Greed is a human-based and a soul-based emotion that doesn't even have human attributes in there. So in order to deal with that, I think
mm,
psychological cognitive preparation is one thing, but ethereal willingness to go through the energy and to cry through that as long as it takes. Um, I heard that it doesn't get easier. Um,
up,
it back and forth. But the
mm,
episodes of those become longer and longer apart from each other. But and there's a possible communication I heard happens in ethereal world between the physical and non-physical, but
mm,
nothing satisfies that physical presence of hugging your friend heart to heart.
never. Well, I'm not sure how you means what is your way to deal with that. Some for me it's like I don't cry much, but I do cry. You know.
I cry it out.
Yeah.
It's important.
So cry it out, man. This is the only thing what we can do. Personally, if you ask me, whenever I miss him, in like there are so many things. He's the person who start like I wasn't the person who watched TV series or anything. Friends, the whole season, all the seasons. He is the person who referred me that. So whenever I watch them, I watched Friends 14 times now. The whole 10, 11. I'm not sure how many seasons they have. So those small things are there, and somehow those small things are connected to that person too. So he's the person. He's the one who called me Chandler all the time. you are Chandler, man. And I'm like, okay. And sometimes Joey. So maybe due to the food, not the girls. So so तो वो जो था कि तो मैं क्या करता हूँ कि when I miss him somehow, and I mostly miss him when I'm in the car. I mostly miss my father when I'm in the car, or and when I'm alone. So
Yep.
I let it out, man.
I let it
I
out.
let it,
I let it
and
out
and
straight, man.
and you somehow you feel while letting it out, you feel that person is there, not
Telling
hugging
you not
you.
to cry.
Yeah, and he is the person.
That all the time.
And
I was like,
my friend used to say, "You asshole."
yeah, but I could hear my friends like, dude, you gotta stop this shit.
So you know, those feelings can help us heal, or maybe heal to stand, to at least keeping ourselves stood up for it, like at least standing tall to
And
ourselves.
I mean, some like when I heard it, I've heard about feeling gutted. I heard about it multiple times. This is the first time I felt being gutted. Like I could not breathe for good.
Hmm.
I could not breathe. It got to that point. Especially when you're trying to save a person from different ways, psychologically being so in depthly involved in somebody's life and their improvement in there, and you're taking baby steps with that, and all of a sudden that person's gone. Plus, there's multiple layers to this relationship. Um, Losing it all of a sudden was never part of the plan. So I'm still going through it. Very
Yeah.
strong. It's touching a year, and it feels like it was yesterday. It's um, I'm just honoring and
Hmm.
taking care of everything by the book, but then I let it out. I don't hold anything inside.
Maybe the song I made for him, for my friend.
I'm dying to hear that song.
Yeah, man, that song somehow gave me that gave me satisfaction. Gave me little relief or something. I don't know why. I know I feel crying whenever I sing that song, but somehow that song is I'm gives me that relief. तो मेरे ख्याल से artistically whatever you can do, maybe just for his memory or something. I don't know. And whatever I can do for my friends, और जो भी सुन रहा है उनके किसी भी लव वन के लिए, do something whatever you can, small thing, nothing else.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I'm gonna run it by you guys. I don't know what you think, right?
Okay.
My friend was Hindu, right? And he believed in reincarnation. And
Okay.
he had a horse before. And he was crazy about horses. Our everything about each other, everything started with a horse emoji. Our like
Oh.
emoji Facebook on the messenger, it's like a horse emoji. So we talked
Oh.
about horses all the time, right? And he gave me a horseshoe a week before his death. And he gave me that horseshoe. He's like, if I ever am gone, this is how you remember me on with.
Oh.
And I kept that horseshoe up in my garage, and and we were building my back deck over here, and I had an idea. I was like, I'm gonna get a horse, right? I have a space right now. I can get a horse. He's like, you gotta get a horse. All right, cool. Let's get. So we were both looking for a horse, and we were kind of secretly making a horse shed, not to tell my wife because my wife said
Sure,
no
man.
at that time.
Yeah,
So we
that's
was
the heaviest
we were
part, man.
yeah. So we were secretly building a horse shed to go get a horse and all of that. And then I told him, I'm not gonna go for it, man. Oh man, his heart was broken. He said, we were looking for it. I was like, no, I'm not ready for it. And he was very disappointed. And
Mm.
I think he was building a house for him for his own self to come as a horse later on. Um, and he loved our space. He loved our family. So I think now I I have to get a horse. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
obligated to get a horse. So
Oh,
he's gonna channel his own self through a horse, man. I'm gonna name that horse Nishi. That's how I'm gonna.
yeah. You can. That's a brilliant idea. I don't think so that there's no harm in it, in that.
Besides, so besides, and he was a handyman, right? So he was a He was a wood guy and framing guy and all that. So
Oh, and
no,
you're not.
no, I'm not. So whenever I'm actually making things or building things now, I have his soul with me. He's always
That's it.
he's always telling me what to do there. So oh man, I miss that man. I
Um,
miss that human. So
yeah.
I don't
And
doom
but
and
that person taught you a lot.
oh my God, everything, man. In terms, dude, the
Man.
guy was like so the one that hurts so much is that one human heart loved you to the fullest. That man
Mm.
loved me to the fullest, celebrated.
Yeah.
Um, and we spent limitless amount of times talking to each other about anything, animals, things like that. We just hung out for hours. And I think that's irreplaceable. That
The
doesn't,
spirit. There's a song called "The Spirit Carries On," man.
oh, absolutely. His spirit always carries on. I feel it.
Yes, man. That's it, man. Because you're doing things, and somehow it's connected to that person, and due to that, and you can carry it forward, man. You can carry it wherever you wanna. It will remain with you.
Absolutely, sir. That's the idea.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Anyway,